Hey, what's going on, everyone? So, how great is that news? Dave Chappelle is officially endorsing Andrew Yang for president. He came out and said he is Yang Gang, and he's going to be doing two shows at the end of January to benefit Andrew Yang's campaign. That's very exciting stuff. I know that he didn't make this last debate, which was disheartening, but I know that we've got a lot of momentum here, and I trust him when he says we're going to peak at the right time. My background, for anyone who's stumbling across this for the very first time, I found Andrew Yang in around March or April because of a Joe Rogan podcast. He had maybe 3 videos on YouTube. That's it. So he was very unknown. I kept quiet, even though I really liked his ideas. I really wanted to get to know him a little more. So for the next 4 to 6 months, I was studying him. I was watching his videos. I was reading about his policies, and I was just on fire. I was like, this is incredible what the Freedom Dividend alone could do for this country. And I decided to come out and support him in July or August, and just been following him and rooting for him this entire time. And it is incredible to see what he has accomplished. And to be honest with everyone, I'm not a political person. I'm going to be 32 years old. I've never really been involved in politics whatsoever. I was a fan of Joe Rogan, and I saw Andrew on there. And when I actually got excited about someone who didn't seem like they were speaking this different language, they were speaking to me. Andrew was speaking to me, and he wasn't dodging questions or not pointing with his finger or doing all these political things that it's the generation we're living in today. Even with these commercials that are on television that are so vanilla, it's the same. These days, people want authenticity because we're seeing stories on Instagram. We're seeing people on long form podcasts. We want real. And a lot of the politicians that are old school, for me personally, aren't connecting. They're just not connecting. I've never been excited. And I'm also not extreme. I don't jump on bandwagons. I don't hate. I'm not an. I'm very much just like, I have empathy for everyone. Whoever you love, whoever you're voting for, that's awesome with me. I might disagree. Doesn't matter. I don't have this vicious, like, if you're not like, hey, if you're undecided and you want to take a look at Andrew Yang, you're gonna love him. I support him. You can support whoever you want. I'm still gonna shake your hand and have a cup of coffee with you. I'm a very friendly person in this whole crazy divided world that we're in right now. But I do want to speak on real quick what I have learned about the Freedom Dividend over watching Andrew for almost a year. And the number one thing is what I just said. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your age is, other than if you're over 18, what your race is, what your religion is, your gender. It is the one thing, the Freedom Dividend, that can unite us as Americans. That in the richest country in the world, that we get a piece of the pie, $1,000 a month for every 18-year-old and above. And it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, in between. It doesn't matter where you work or what mistakes you've made in the past. If you're an American citizen, you get $1,000 a month. And I think this, in 2020, this is what we need. Selfishly and selflessly, when I look at what this could do for the world. Where I came from, I was born in a small town of Ashtabula, Ohio. My dad was a shiploader. He's retired now. He loaded coal into ships. My mom, for 15 years, worked at a rubber factory. And this was my town. And when I think of those 20,000 people, many who are on welfare, many who don't have opportunity, many who don't have the resources to repair their car, to fix their homes, to relocate, to think of everyone that I know in this town receiving $1,000 a month, what that would do for my hometown alone, not to mention all the cities in the world that I've never, or in the United States that I haven't been to, but what this would do for the communities of how many people would go get their driveways fixed, how many people would get their houses repaired, their appliances fixed, some new clothes for the kids, Little League signups, going to get their hair done, their nails done, to feel good, to get a massage, to get a personal trainer, to go out to eat, to have some fun. Think about what that would do to the economy in just that small town, let alone the United States. It would boom. And I love that. I think it's so incredible. I also think about the people who, because they're strapped for cash, they end up committing crimes. They end up robbing a 7-Eleven or a liquor store, and then they go to jail, and then it puts this burden on their whole life. But maybe if they would have had that $1,000 a month, they wouldn't have needed when they were laid off or something happened where they would need to go do an act like that. Is there still going to be crime? Yes, but I bet you it's going to cut down on it, especially if you lose the incentive. If you go to jail, you lose the $1,000 a month. It gets put on pause. So you know you're going to lose that for your family. So maybe people won't commit as many crimes. And maybe when people get out of jail or they get out of prison, while they're trying to integrate back into society, that $1,000 a month is going to help them keep a roof over their head, help them get over their bad habits, help them get help. I just think that's incredible. And the other group that I think of are the single parents who, instead of being home with their kids from 5 to 10 at night, they're working a second job for an extra $1,200 a month when they could get the Freedom Dividend and they could be home with their kids, help their kids learn, help their kids grow, maybe keep them out of trouble. Andrew Yang even says 1/3 of education is done in schools. The other 2/3 is done at home. So even if we give all these resources to schools, children need taught at home. They need to have that household together. 50% of households end in divorce because of money. You know, as Andrew says as well, this would get the boot off of people's throat. The $1,000 a month would help. There's 2 people in my family that like their jobs, but they're parents now, they're moms now, and they want to stay home so bad, but they just kind of can't. It just doesn't work out financially the way that they want it to. But if the husband and wife in both scenarios each got $1,000, that's $2,000 plus the $800 or $1,200 they're spending on babysitting. That's their income. So now the mom could stay home for maybe 5 years, 10 years, or forever. Whatever they want to do, they have that option. We're not so, we're not so rigid, and that's the world we're living in now. 2020 is the decade that's going to revolutionize all of this. We're just getting started. AI is taking over, self-driving cars, automation. We see it happening. And I want to celebrate when a drone drops off a package in the future, or when a Tesla picks me up and no one's driving it. I want to celebrate that every single person's getting a piece, that we're all getting our $1,000 a month in a dividend. And yes, it's going to help people that are really struggling for food and shelter, and that is what's most important. But what's also important is that there's also 150 million people who could significantly improve their life with $1,000 a month. Even if you make $127,000 a year, there are still things that you'd like to do with the money. And there's a difference between handing someone $10,000 once and having a residual or passive or guaranteed income every month. It's a different feeling. I've been blessed to have residual income and passive income in my life, and that money feels different than my clock in, clock out money. And this is an interesting scenario. Me and my fiance were thinking about, getting married. We're trying to figure out the date. Between me and her sister, my future brother-in-law, her parents, and my parents, there's 8 people. Imagine if we just said, hey, everyone, we want to get married. Why don't we put all 8 of our Freedom Dividends for the next 2 months in a fund for our wedding? No need for gifts or anything, and we can take that 16 grand and go have a wedding. Think about how families and communities could come together if someone's in need, if someone's, even if someone's homeless. People would go out of their way to help homeless people get back on their feet, because as soon as you get them a bank account and get a roof over their head, the $1,000 a month is in their hands. How many people wouldn't go homeless? The money we would save on homeless services, the money we would save on prison, the money that we would save on health, on stress, the money that we would save on so many things. The economy would be booming. I am just all for it. I think it's the most brilliant idea. And I don't listen from some random guy you're seeing on YouTube here. Go research Andrew Yang. If you're an undecided voter, go research him. Hear from his mouth. I'm just a fan. And really see what that could do. And think about what the $1,000 a month would do for you as well. And I try to look at some of the negative comments too. Not negative, but just the skepticism of how we're going to pay for it. He really talks about how we're going to do that, and it really does make sense. The other thing is people complain, well, he's going to give the millionaires more money. I mean, I think there's like 15 million millionaires in the United States, and there's about 250 million adults. So you really can't poo-poo an idea based on the 15 million that you're going to give an extra thousand to, and then based on that, you don't want to give the other 230 million people $1,000 a month, what they could really use. Even if you're going to lose your job or if you're going to pay for college, like think about if a mom and dad had the means, and there'll be many moms and dads like this, or many parents in general that could save their freedom dividend for 5 years, and that's what, 100 grand that pays for their kid. There's just so many things we can start becoming creative. I can't find a flaw in it. It's capitalism that doesn't start at zero. It helps the community, it helps the economy, and what we need more than anything is that it unites us. We can still fight about everything else. I, however, don't. I like to just stay out of it. Very, very complicated things that we're arguing about. But this unites us. If you're an American citizen, you get $1,000 a month. It's cool. And it's for everyone. You know, if like some people, Andrew's not for free college, but you know, some people are talking about, but that only helps 30% of our population, if that. You know, everyone else is left out of it. It's like, let the people, let each of us decide what we want to do with the 1,000. Do we want to put it towards healthcare? Do we want to put it towards college? Do we want to put it towards hiring, which we would do? Do you want to put it towards your debt? Do you want to put, I mean, you can put it towards anything. Allow each individual, because we're all unique and we're all living in a different location. We all have different life experiences, and we all have different people in our lives. And what we want to do with that $1,000 a month is also going to change throughout our lives. And I think it's important, instead of the government having to vote on something, or we vote on something, it's like once we get the freedom dividend, let us choose as we evolve. You know, once parents are saving up money for their kids to go to college, now all of a sudden, or someone's saving money right now, they're a truck driver, they start saving the freedom dividend. All of a sudden, they got a $50,000, $75,000 cushion. When the truck driving jobs go away, they'll have a $75,000 cushion to go find something else. And once they find a great new job, now that freedom dividend is not for their future anymore, but maybe it's for them to start golfing or to take another hobby or to give back or volunteer. We're going to evolve, and we don't have to go through this big process every time of what we need. Let the people individually decide what we want to do with our $1,000. I just think it's absolutely amazing. I could talk forever, but I don't want to make this video too long. So I appreciate you all checking this out. I just wanted to just celebrate that Dave Chappelle's on board, and, you know, a few months here. I mean, we got to see if Andrew Yang can pull it home, and I think he will. You know, even if he doesn't, I'm going to continue to follow him because I just love his ideas. He's with the times. And I think that's what we can't forget. You know, this is not 1990. This is not 1950. It's important to learn from those times and the past so we don't make the same mistakes and we learn to grow. But the way the economy is and the way the world is working, we've never lived through any time like this ever. We have AI. We have automation. And I just don't want people governing this country with 1997 ideas. Everything has changed. The way we communicate. You know, even with Andrew, he's a person. I relate to him. You know, he's not this typical politician that I'm just not relating to. And he doesn't have any of these gimmicks. I feel like a lot of these politicians are trained on how to say and what to do, and I just like that he just feels like he's a buddy or a neighbor or somebody that just really wants to help. And I don't think he has any ulterior motives but to just help. So he's got my vote, and I'm really excited. So thanks, Yang Gang. Like I said, if you want to research more, please look at his website, check out Andrew Yang in general, Google him, and check out a lot of his policies. I think you'll be very, very happy. So thanks for listening, everyone. If you liked the video, please give it a like. It would mean a lot. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome too. So take care, everyone. Wishing you an amazing week.